welcome to Ask IITians. This is Sakshi Ganotra, a faculty at Ask IITians. So today the topic that I have chosen to teach you people is something known as kinetic theory of gases. So since this is a very important topic for the subject of JEE Advanced as well as JEE Mains, so I thought of discussing this chapter first of all with the introduction. So with the introduction, I'll try to tell you what do we mean by gases and how to identify the gases as ideal gases or real gases. After the discussion about what do we mean by ideal gas, I will then try to introduce something about what are the different laws for ideal gas. Like we'll be discussing something about Charles' law, what is Boyle's law and Gay-Lussac's law, etc. So now let us begin with the session where we'll be discussing about all these laws and finally we'll end up doing what do we mean by ideal gas. So students, now let us start with the topic kinetic theory of gases. So in this topic, what I'll try to cover up with you people is, first of all, I'll try to give you the introduction about the chapter kinetic theory of gases. After that, we'll move over to the ideal gas law. After doing the ideal gas law, I'll shift over to the equation of state. Also, I'll try to discuss something about internal energy and heat and thermodynamics. So we'll try to cover all these topics in this chapter kinetic theory of gases. Now, beginning with the first thing, let us start with the ideal gas equation. Now, if we'll be doing the ideal gas equation, so by the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand a few basic points. So, let me just summarize those few basic points which you'll be able to understand once we are done with the chapter. So, first of all, you'll be able to sketch and interpret the PV graph at constant volume. Now, for example, I say that once I tell you something about what do we mean by pressure, volume, temperature for any particular ideal gas. Then after the end of the chapter, you will be able to make the graphs between pressure and volume at constant temperature. Also, you can be able to make the graph between volume and temperature, keeping pressure to be constant. Plus, you will also be able to make up the graph between pressure and temperature when volume is kept constant. So, once we'll keep pressure constant, then we'll keep volume constant and then we can keep temperature constant. And hence, with the other two variables, I'll be trying to plot the graphs between those two variables. Also, it's not only about plotting the graph, you'll also be able to interpret what is the physical significance from those graphs. Not only this, you will also be able to use the ideal gas equation, which is PV is equal to nRT. So as we move over to the chapter, you will try to figure out what do we mean by the ideal gas, what do we mean by the ideal gas equation. So you also will be able to use this ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT with the end of the chapter. So let us first of all begin with what do we mean by ideal gas equation and how we can go to define what is ideal gas. See, the first law which we have to deal in the case of kinetic theory of gases, the first law is known as Boyle's law. So, Boyle's law is generally taken at a constant temperature. And according to the Boyle's law, it is simply said that the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at constant temperature, I told you that this law is valid only for constant temperature. So, according to this law, the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at constant temperature is inversely proportional to its volume. So, what we can say is that in the numerical terms, I'll simply say that once you are keeping the temperature as constant, pressure will be found to be inversely proportional to volume, or I can also say that pressure will be found to be directly proportional to 1 by V. So whether you call it an inverse proportionality or a direct proportionality with respect to the volume. Next, what we say that the related equations to the Boyle's law are. Now see, we have simply said that on keeping the temperature as constant, P is directly proportional to 1 by V. So I can also say that to remove the proportionality sign, I'll say P is equal to some K by V. So if I take the V on the left hand side, you will get PV is equal to K, where K is nothing but a particular constant. Or we can also use, now once I say that PV is equal to constant. So if you are taking one value of pressure at one volume and you take another value of pressure at another volume, you will be able to write P1 V1 is nothing but equal to P2 V2. Let it be the initial state of pressure and volume and this be the final state of pressure and volume. But you have to keep in mind that for all the complete condition, the temperature of the system has to be kept constant. Now once we are done with this thing, let us move over to what do we mean by the graphs of Boyle's law. So, the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at a constant temperature is inversely proportional to its volume. So, what we have to keep in mind that the gas you are taking, it should be fixed in mass and the temperature should also be constant. Now, since we have simply got the curve as PV is equal to constant, or I can say P is inversely proportional to V. So, when pressure is high, the volume has to be low and the graph is simply plotted in this way. For example, this red curve indicates, let's say at some temperature T1. When you are working for very high value of pressure, the volume value correspondingly is low. Whereas if you are working for a high value of volume, so if the volume is high, then you can see that the pressure is going to be low. So if P is high, V will be low. If P is low, V will be high. And if I ask you to draw the graph between P versus 1 by V, so you can also say that since PV is nothing but constant value, that means P is equal to some K by V. That means if you are drawing the graph between P versus V, it will be a straight line passing through origin with zero intercept on y-axis. So again, this is at temperature T1 and this is at temperature T2. Now once we are done with this Boyle's law, let's move over to Charles' law. Let's see what do we mean by Charles' law. According to Charles' law, the volume of a fixed mass of a gas at constant pressure is directly proportional to its absolute temperature. So for Charles' law, you have to keep in mind that pressure of the gas is kept to be constant. And again, one thing you have to keep in mind that this law is valid at constant pressure. Moreover, this law is valid for a fixed mass of a gas. The way we try to do in the Boyle's law, the similar way we can move over to the Charles' law. So it says that the volume is directly proportional to its absolute temperature T. So whatever I had written over here, I can say if P is constant, V will be directly proportional to T. So removing the proportionality sign, you can write V is equal to K times T. Or if you take T on the left hand side, so you can say V by T is nothing but constant. Or once again, I can simply write that the way we did in the previous case. So if V by T is constant, so V1 by T1 will be equal to V2 by T2. Now let's move over to the graphs for Charles' law. See, if I have been asked to draw the graphs for Charles' law, we'll simply say when you are plotting volume with respect to temperature. Since V is directly proportional to T, V is equal to some KT. So it has been found that when the temperature is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, then or this is also equal to 0 Kelvin. So we say that when the temperature is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, then the volume occupied is 0. That means the graph between V and T in degrees Celsius is nothing but a straight line which does not pass through the origin, rather it is having an intercept on the negative x-axis. Whereas if I ask you to convert the temperature from degrees Celsius to Kelvin, you can say that the graph between volume and temperature in Kelvin is again a straight line. Here in this case, volume will be asked to be directly proportional to temperature in Kelvin. And if this graph is drawn between volume and temperature in Kelvin, the graph will be found to follow a straight axis, a straight line which passes through origin and having zero intercept. So this is nothing but just the mathematical form of the laws which are represented in the physical way. Now let us move over to the other law which says that Gay-Lussac's or pressure law. Now what do we mean by this law? It says that the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at constant volume is directly proportional to its absolute temperature. See, the first law we kept one thing as constant, the another law we kept another variable as constant. And in this Gay-Lussac's law, we are simply keeping the volume as constant. And also we are talking about a fixed mass of the gas. So once you are talking about the fixed mass of the gas, you will simply say that the pressure is directly proportional to temperature, again in the Kelvin scale, which is also known as absolute scale. So if I ask you to write, you will simply write P is directly proportional to T if volume is kept equal to constant. And the way we did for the earlier two laws, I can simply write that since P is equal to KT, so you take T in the denominator end, so P by T is nothing but constant. So you can say P by T is constant or P1 by T1 is nothing but equal to P2 by T2. Now let's move again over to the graph of Gay-Lussac's or pressure law. So the way we did for the graph between volume and temperature in the degree Celsius scale, similarly we can do for the graph of pressure and temperature in degree Celsius scale, where it is found to follow a straight line but not passing through the origin, rather having an intercept on the negative x-axis. Whereas if you try to convert the temperature scale from degree Celsius to Kelvin scale, you will say that when the temperature is equal to 0 Kelvin, the pressure is also going to be 0 Kelvin at a fixed volume for a fixed mass of gas. Now once we are done up to this point, let us now move for what do we mean by equation of state for an ideal gas. See? An ideal gas is basically defined as a perfect gas which obeys the three laws, the Boyle's law, the Charles law and the Gay-Lussac's law exactly. So whatever we have taught you till this point of time about Boyle's law, Charles law and Gay-Lussac's law, if you take any particular gas which is following all the three perfectly, that means such a kind of gas is known as a perfect gas, or you can also call it to be an ideal gas. Now, let us try to go into the derivation kind of stuff. So, let us consider that there is an ideal gas in a container and it changes its pressure P, volume V and temperature T as shown in the figure. So, let me draw the figure and let's try to evaluate what we have to conclude. Let's see. First of all, for example, this is a container in which some gas is occupied. So let's say the gas is at pressure P1, volume V1 and temperature T. So now what I'm trying to do is, so let me say in the first stage, the temperature is kept at T1. So let me say if I go back, let me keep the temperature of the system as constant. So let's say the Boyle's law will be applicable here because I am keeping the temperature constant. So once you are keeping the temperature constant, you can directly write initial pressure is P1, initial volume is V1. This will be equal to, let's say the final pressure comes out to be P2 and the final volume for first stage comes out to be V2 dash. So we can solve this equation and we can find out what is the value of V dash as P1 V1 by P2. Now once we are done with the first stage, let us say in the second stage the pressure is kept constant as P2. So let's come back here. I told you that the pressure will be P2, volume V dash, temperature T1. Now for the second stage, if I take into account of keeping the pressure to be constant, that means I can very easily apply the Charles law. So let's say the pressure is constant, so the final pressure will be P2. Since volume will change, so let's say the final volume is V2, also the temperature is changed, so let's say final temperature is T2. Now again in this case, if I say in the second stage, pressure is kept as constant, and if I ask you to use the Charles law, you can again write according to Charles law, V by T is nothing but constant. So if V by T is constant, you can write for the initial case, where V dash by T1 will be equal to final case, which will be V2 by T2. So just take the value of V dash from here, which becomes equal to V2 into T1 by T2. Now what we'll do, since we have got V dash from equation number 1, we have also got V dash from equation number 2. So we have to do nothing but to simply equate the two equations 1 and 2. So if you are going to equate the two equations, I can say P1 V1 over T1 in the initial case will be equal to P2 V2 over T2 over the final case. Or what I can write is, since you are writing P1 V1 over T1 is equal to P2 V2 over T2, that means nothing but PV by T is a constant value. So this is all about how you are going to define the ideal gas equation. And if I simply write PV by T is constant, this is nothing but an equation for any ideal gas. Now let us move ahead and do the equation of state for any particular ideal gas. Let us consider 1 mole of a gas at a standard temperature and pressure. So we define something which is known as STP conditions. STP condition means when the temperature and the pressure are to be at the standard values. The standard value of temperature is 273.15 Kelvin, and that for pressure is 101.3 kilopascals, and the volume is given to be, so Vm is 0.0224 meters cube. Now, if I ask you to calculate the value of PVm over T, the pressure given to me is 101.3 into 10 raised to 3, which will be pascals, and the volume will be 0.0224. If I ask you to divide it by temperature, 273.15 Kelvin, the value of R, that constant, comes out to be 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole. So here Vm is nothing but the molar volume. That means the volume occupied by just 1 mole of the gas. So this R is known as molar gas constant, and its value is same for all the gases. So this R is a universal molar gas constant and has got the same value for all the different types of ideal gases. Let's work into this thing in a little more details. So we just concluded that PVm over T is nothing but R. So I can also write PVm is R times T, where Vm, as per I told you in the previous slide, is nothing but the molar volume of the gas. Molar volume means the volume of 1 mole of the gas. Now if I am asking you to write the same equation for n number of moles of the ideal gas, the equation will be written as PV is equal to nRT, because now you need to multiply the number of moles with respect to this equation. So where n is called as the number of moles for any particular gas. Also, I can tell you that the number of moles is basically written as given mass divided by molar mass. So if m is a mass given to you and capital M is the molar mass of the gas, and if you divide the two things, you get to know what is the number of moles of gas you are talking about. Now, if the Boltzmann constant K is defined as, so let us for example assume that I have told you the value of R as 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole. If I ask you to divide this value of R divided by Avogadro's number, so Avogadro's number is 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23 mole inverse. So this mole inverse got cancelled, and you will say that the new value so obtained, the new constant so obtained, is known as Boltzmann constant, which is generally defined as K. Also, you can write the ideal gas equation then as PV is equal to nRT or PV is equal to nKBT. And also, we can define the number of moles, which we define in the terms of given mass by molar mass. You can also define the number of moles as the number of molecules divided by the Avogadro's constant. Now, since we have studied a lot about ideal gas equation and the laws which we have done, let's take out an example and let's try to cover up what do we mean by these things. Now, let's see. He says that the volume of the vessel A is 3 times of the volume of the vessel B. That means what we have been asked to say is that, let's see. So this is a complete question that has been given to us. Let's try to understand the question first. He says that the volume of vessel A, there is a vessel A, it has got the volume 3V as compared to the volume of vessel B. So supposingly the volume of vessel B is V, so the volume of vessel A is 3 times of V. The vessels are filled with an ideal gas and are at steady state. Now you have filled some ideal gas in this vessel, some ideal gas in this vessel, and both of them are said to be in the steady state. The temperature of vessel A and vessel B are given to be, so this temperature is 300 Kelvin, this temperature is 500 Kelvin as shown in the figure. Now, if the mass of the gas in the vessel A is m, let's say m grams is the mass of gas which is present in the vessel A, obtain the mass of the gas in the vessel B in terms of m. So now we have to find out what is the mass of the gas in vessel B if both of them are found to be in the steady state. Now let me first of all just write down what are the values which are given to me. So I say that the volume of vessel A is given to be 3 times the volume of vessel B, and let's say the mass of vessel A is given to be m. So this is the first thing. Also, the temperature of vessel A in Kelvin is given to be 300 Kelvin. If I write down for vessel number B, I'll say, so the volume of vessel number B is, let's say, VB. The mass of vessel number B is what we have to find out, and the temperature of vessel number B is 500 Kelvin, that is given to me. Now, since I have said that the temperature is 300, the temperature is 500 over here, moreover, we can also use the ideal gas equation, assuming both the gases A and B to be the ideal gas. So, we know that PV is nothing but nRT. Now, as per what we studied in the last slide, PV can be written as M by capital M into RT. That means you can finally work out with the equation P is equal to given mass by molar mass into R into T. Let me equate it as equation number 1. Now, if I ask you to write the same equation for the container A or for the vessel A, I can say that PA into VA is equal to MA by capital M into R into T. Because I am simply writing it for the gas which is contained in the container number A. Now, if the same thing is written, I can also write that PA into 3 times V of B is nothing but M by capital MC, because I have just taken MA to be M. So, I can write M by capital M into R into 300. So, let me again say this is equation number 1 dash. I simply put the value there and I have obtained the equation 1 dash. Moreover, if I continue further, I can say that since the volume A is given to be 3 times the volume B and the mass of A is given to be M, so I can write the same thing for the gas in equation number B, and moreover, I will say PB into volume is, let's say, VB is equal to, let's say, will come out to be 100 into M by capital M into R. Why so I am doing it? This is because since both the two systems are said to be in the steady state, so you can definitely correlate the ideal gas equation. Now, if you are asked to correlate the ideal gas equation, you can say pressure into, so if I say pressure of A will be equal to pressure of B, let's call it to be P. So, P into VB is nothing but 500 into mass of B, given mass by molar mass into R. So, let's say this was some 500 again, because the temperature given to me is 500 Kelvin. This is nothing but the temperature which is given to me. So, if I say equate the two things, you will be equating them like 100 into M by M into R will be nothing but 500 into MB by capital M into R. So, if you solve this thing, MM got cancelled. This got cancelled with 5, R got cancelled. That means MB will be nothing but M over 5. So, I can simply say that the mass of B, the mass of the gas in the container B is nothing but 1 by 5th time the mass of the gas in the container A. So, now since we are done with this example, let us move over to the second example so that the concept becomes more clear. So, it says that you refer to the figure which is given below. Initially, A contains 3 meter cube of any ideal gas at a temperature 250 Kelvin, and the pressure is given to be 5 into 10 raised to the power 4 pascals. So, while B contains 7.20, so the volume is given to be 7.20 meter cube of the same gas, but the temperature is 400 Kelvin and the pressure is 2 into 10 raised to the power 4 pascals. Then we have been asked to calculate the pressure after the connecting tap has been opened and the system reached equilibrium. So, I say whatever was the connecting tap, I am opening it up and the system reaches in equilibrium, assuming that A is kept at 250 and B is kept at 400 Kelvin. So, this is what temperature was mentioned earlier also. Now, how to do the similar kind of question? I will simply say that the volume of A is given to be 3 meters cube. Temperature of A is given to be 250 Kelvin and the pressure of A is given to be 5 into 10 raised to the power 4 pascals. So, I'm just penning down the units which are given to me, all the data points. Also, I can say that the volume of B is given to be 7.20 meter cube. The temperature of B is given to be 400 Kelvin and the pressure of B is given to be 2 into 10 raised to the power 4 pascals. Now, since it has been said that both the two are there in equilibrium, so I can very easily say that P0 V0 over T0 is equal to P1 V1 over T1. That means whatever is the number of moles in the initial state or whatever is the number of moles in the final state, these two have to be the same value. So, in the initial state, I can write P0, V0 over T0, and for the final state, I can write P1, V1 over T1. Now, once we know this thing, I can very easily begin up with the fact that P0A into V0A divided by T0A plus P0B into V0B divided by T0B is equal to pressure, which is the final pressure, divided by V1A over T1A plus V1B over T1B. And why have I written this equation? Because the two containers are now in equilibrium. If the two containers are now in equilibrium, that means this is the equilibrium state, and hence we can use the same equation. Putting up the values, 5 into 10 raised to the power 4 into 3 divided by 250 plus, here it will say 2 into 10 raised to the power 4 into 7.20 divided by 400. This is nothing but the left hand side which is there from this equation. And if I ask you to write what is something about right hand side, you will say, let's say the pressure is P. So V is 3 divided by 250 plus V is 7.20 divided by 4. So what you have to do now, you have to simply correlate the value of left hand side and right hand side. If you correlate the two values, you can solve the value for P, which comes out to be nearly 3.20 into 10 raised to the power 4 pascals. So this was all about whatever was the first introductory part of kinetic theory of gases. So students, we discussed something about what do we mean by ideal gas equation and what are the different laws for the ideal gases. Now, having discussed about these two things, now is the time that we should move over to the derivation for the pressure exerted by the ideal gas on the walls of the container. So what I'll ask you people is to just revise whatever has been taught to you in the first session so that we can continue with the stuff in the next session.